Koyotek.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video tutorial. I'm your instructor Dali from Koyotek, and today we are going to delve deeper into another important part of HTML called attributes. So in this video we will especially focus on the anchor element, which is essential for creating hyperlinks. So guys, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel to not miss any other video. And what are we waiting for? Let's go! So this is the structure of an anchor element, and just like the other elements we've seen, it has an opening tag and a closing tag. However, there is something a bit different about this one. So if you write the code exactly as it is here, it won't create a working hyperlinks. So to make it work, you need to add an extra attribute, and attributes for HTML elements go inside the opening tag. So the attribute goes right after the name of the tag and just before the closing angle bracket. And what an attribute does is it adds additional information to this HTML element, such as in this case where this link should link to. When we structure an attribute, we follow a specific format. First, we write the name of the element followed by a space. Next, we write the name of the attribute followed by an equal sign. Finally, we write the value of the attribute after the equal sign. Now you can add as many attributes as you like to your element. Just simply separate each one with a space and make sure they are all inside the opening tag. So if you check the Mozilla Developer Network documentation or MDN for the anchor element, you will find that this has a special attribute called href. So this href attribute is where we put the URL that the hyperlink should link to, without the attribute itself. The element you see is an anchor element, and you can see the content enclosed by its tag. However, clicking on it doesn't trigger any action as it's not an active link. So to make an active link, you need to add an href attribute which specifies the target URL. Once you add this attribute, the link will be styled differently to indicate that it's now clickable. So clicking on it will take you straight to the specified URL. So in addition to the specialized attribute that are unique to each HTML element, there are also global attributes that apply to all HTML elements. So these global attributes provide common functionality that can be applied to any element, regardless of its specific purpose. So for instance, the draggable attribute allows you to specify whether an element can be dragged by the user. By setting this attribute to true or false, you can control the draggability of an element. So here's a simplified example of how to use draggable attribute. So in this example, the draggable attribute is set to true, enabling the user to drag the element with their mouse or touch. This demonstrates the versatility of a global attribute, allowing you to add common functionalities to any HTML element. Alright, so we have established that certain HTML attributes are exclusive to specific elements, like the href attributes for the anchor tag. So on the other hand, global attributes can be applied to any HTML element. Now let's test your understanding of anchor elements and more specifically the syntax of HTML attributes in HTML code. So if you are looking for the exercise, you can find the link in the description down below. So in this exercise, we are going to create a website that shows our top 5 favorite websites. I've got the H1 already written for you, but what we are aiming for is something like this. So you have a list here, and notice that this is actually an order list because it goes from 1 all the way to 5. And the fact the list is not highlighted in blue should show you that this is actually creating using a list element and not a part of the anchor tag. So it's not a part of the content, and the anchor tag only starts here. I want you to document your top 5 all-time favorite websites, and feel free to Google or check mine if you want to see what they do. So I want you to use what you have learned previously about creating lists, and within those lists I want you to create 5 anchor tags, each of them pointing to a different website that you like. If you've got everything working, then you would end up with a website that looks like the goal. And when you click on any of these links, then they should take you to the correct website. Pause the video, now give this challenge a go, and once you are done, come back here and I'll go through the solution with you. So how did that go? The first thing we wanted to do was to create an order list. We already saw how to do this in a previous lesson. We create our tags and inside we add our list elements. Inside the list elements is where our anchor tag is going to go. So it's an anchor tag which is inside a list element, which is then inside a order list. So several layers of nesting that's going on here. Now once you are created your anchor tag, then in between the open and closing tags we add the tags for our link. So in my case it will be the name of my website that I'm linking to, which is called Product Hunt. So the important part comes here when we create the attribute for that anchor tag. So remember that the attribute for linking an anchor tag is called the href, and we are going to add it after the equal sign. So as you start typing, you might see code start suggesting what you are looking for. So if you pick the href and hit enter, then it will format everything for you to enter the URL. So if you are wondering why there are these quotation marks here, well, that's because it's actually a piece of text that we are going to add in here. So in these treated slightly different in code. So whenever you have text, normally you will see them enclosed inside a set of double quotes. So this is to differentiate from the reserved words like, you know, I or a or href. And in order to show that you are not creating anything special, you are pointing to our URL, which is just a piece of text. We have our double quotes around it. Inside here, I'm going to paste the URL of Google. And now I have myself a link, and if I go ahead and show preview, then you should see that we have got our list item 1. And when I click on it, it goes to the website that I have linked to. So you can repeat this process and link to all of your 5 favorite websites and should end up with something that looks like this. And as an extra challenge, I want you to head over to the developer documentation for the order list which you are using in this current code exercise and look at the attributes. I want you to see whether if you can change one of the attributes, the start attribute, so that your list, instead of starting from 1 to 5, this is what you are aiming for. So pause the video, give that a go, and then afterwards we will go through the solution together. So that's pretty simple, but we need to remember where our attributes go. So they go in the starting tag, which is here, and the name of the attribute is start, and we can set it equal to 5. Now once we have done that, if we take a look at our website, you can see the order list now starts from 5 and ends at 9 because we have changed that attribute. So hopefully that wasn't too difficult and you managed to get it. So have a quick review of the concepts that are covered in this lesson, and remember, we are always trying to repeat things that we've learned before just to make sure that we reinforce those pieces of knowledge from earlier on. And one thing I like to do as I learn is to make some notes on the things that are new to me that I didn't realize before. So if there is something new in this lesson that you want to write down, take a quick note of it and then head over to the next lesson where we talk about image elements. So for all of that and more, I'll see you in the next episode.